Lesson 2 of Chapter 10 is graphing linear equations. So when you have an equation, here we have one right here, what you do is you simply substitute values for the x and the y to determine whether an ordered pair is a solution or not. So these are basically like yes or no type things. Yes or no, are these solutions? So let's try this ordered pair of 4, 11. So in other words, if we put 4 in for the x value, because we know x always comes first in our ordered pair, if we put 4 here, will we get a result of 11? Because that's our y-coordinate value. So 3 times 4 is 12, minus 1 is 11. So this would be a yes. Alright, how about 7 and 12? If we put 7 in for x, we get 21, minus 1 is 20. So we do not get an output of 12. This is not an ordered pair solution. 17 and 23. If we take 17 times 3, think about that for just a moment. 17 times 3, we get 51. 51 minus 1 would not give us 23. So this is also not a solution for this linear equation. Okay? So that's what you'll be asked to do sometimes on your worksheet. It's just to tell whether or not this ordered pair would be a solution. So if you're wanting to graph a linear equation on the coordinate plane, you need to find 3 ordered pairs that fit the equation. So what you do is you come up with your own little table. You make it for both your value of x and y. And for each time you put in an x, you will get an output of a y. So it's best, you can pick any numbers you want to, but the best would be to pick things that are easy to work with. So 0, 1, and 2 are probably the most commonly used ones, although I have seen people also use -1, 0, and 1. So it's kind of up to you. I'm going to highly suggest you do 0, 1, and 2. So you basically think about, again, just like we did on the other slide, if I put a 0 in for the x, what would I get as my output for y? 0 minus 2 is -2. So that's why we put a -2 over here on the y column. When putting in a 0 for x, we get an output of -2. When we put in a 1, we get a -1. And when we put in a 2, we get a 0. So now we have 3 ordered pairs. We have 0, -2, and we would write it like that. And then we have 1, -1, and we have 2, 0. So we're going to go kind of flip back and forth between our graph and our coordinates here. Now that we have these 3 values for x and y, we can graph the points and then connect them with a line. So let's look again. We have 0, -2. So that means we're going to start, x is 0, so we're not going to move on our axis at all. And -2 means we would go below 1, 2. So this right here, this would be our first point. Our second coordinate is 1, -1. So from the origin, whoops, we missed our dot, didn't we? We're going to go 1, -1. Okay. And then we tried the 2, 1, 2, and we got a solution of 0. So this would be where we would put that point. Then you would use your straight edge, and you would connect those 3 lines, or excuse me, those 3 points to form your linear equation line. Now normally we label this line with our equation, which if you remember from the last slide was y equals x minus 2. And we label it right along the line like that. Okay. That is all to lesson 2. So now you need to do your practice problems.